The first warning was just a flicker on an old relay station near Europa. A maintenance AI logged a minor anomaly, a sudden, massive energy surge, $1.20 from Earth. By the time the data hit the United Earth Defense Command on Luna, the anomaly had grown into a violent spatial distortion. And then, it appeared. A vessel larger than any registered in Earth's fleet materialized from the shimmer, its colossal hull catching the sunlight like a knife's edge. Plates of obsidian alloy reflected Jupiter's storms as it cut through the void. Its presence wasn't a quiet arrival, it was mid-maneuver, energy weapons blazing against a swarm of angular, dark green alien warships. Commander Reese Calder stared at the live feed from the Luna Tactical Hub, his breath caught in his throat. That ship, whose is it? Unknown, sir, the comms officer replied. No transponder. It's broadcasting nothing but weapons fire. The alien fleet it was fighting was unmistakable, the Voth Dominion, a species that had been pressuring Earth's colonies for the past decade. But this battle was different. The stranger was alone, and winning. Ghost from the past. Within minutes, orbital defense stations were at full alert. Defense satellites swung their sensor arrays toward the newcomer. The first images hit Earth's intelligence network and froze half the analysts mid-sentence. On its starboard flank, the massive vessel bore a symbol, an ancient Terran sunburst insignia from the pre-Unity era, nearly 2 centuries old. The AI archive spat out a match, Vigilant Dawn, a top-secret Titan-class prototype warship from the First Interstellar Navy. It was said to have vanished in deep space during a classified mission. Official records claimed it had been destroyed in a hyperspace collapse. Calder's eyes narrowed. That ship was lost in 2284. How the hell is it here? I fight for home. The alien fleet broke through a section of their own formation to fire on the stranger's portside. Explosions flared across its armor, but the Vigilant Dawn responded with a blinding lattice of golden energy beams. The beams sliced through Voth's shields as if they were paper, vaporizing entire cruisers. Then, for the first time, it spoke. A tight band transmission cut through Earth's channels, encrypted in a cipher so old that only a handful of military historians could even recognize it. The translation was just 5 words. I fight for home. The voice was synthetic but carried an odd gravity, like something that had waited a very long time to speak. The battle turns. The Voth Armada had already crippled 3 of Earth's orbital defense stations before the Vigilant Dawn arrived. Now, with the stranger's intervention, the tide shifted. Calder ordered the fleet's Aegis-class destroyers to coordinate with the unknown vessel. Patch targeting telemetry to it, he told his crew. Whoever they are, they're on our side, at least for now. In perfect synchronicity, Earth's ships began lancing the gaps the Vigilant Dawn opened in the Voth formation. The alien flagship's shields flickered and died under the combined onslaught. Suddenly, the stranger deployed a weapon Earth had never seen, a shimmering sphere of compressed spacetime that bloomed in the center of the alien fleet. In a blink, 5 warships simply folded inward, collapsing into nothingness. The shockwave rippled harmlessly past Earth's ships, as if the weapon knew friend from foe. Echoes of a forgotten war. In the chaos, Calder requested a deep dive on the ship's historical file. An old classified memo surfaced, redacted, but with one chilling line intact. Should the Vigilant Dawn be lost, assume autonomous operation under Directive Sol 1 until Earth itself is threatened. It hit him, the ship wasn't just a prototype. It was a guardian. Programmed to remain hidden, waiting for a day like this. But 2 centuries? That meant its original crew was long gone. Either the ship's AI had evolved to fight alone, or something even stranger had happened. The final gambit. The Voth were retreating, but their flagship remained, rallying what forces it could. Calder watched as the Vigilant Dawn broke formation, accelerating toward the massive alien dreadnought. Its main drives flared white-hot, far beyond safe operating limits. Sir, the tactical officer reported, it's charging something, reading extreme spatial distortion. The realization hit Calder like ice. It's going to ram. But this wasn't a suicide run. The Vigilant Dawn opened its forward hull like a blooming flower, revealing a crystalline core pulsing with impossible energy. At point-blank range, it unleashed a concentrated singularity burst. The alien flagship didn't explode. It imploded, crushed into a speck of light that winked out of existence. When the glare cleared, nothing remained of the enemy fleet. The silence that followed. For a full minute, there was no movement. Earth's comms officers scrambled to hail the vigilant dawn. No answer. Then, the stranger's engines flickered. Chunks of its armor drifted away, glowing from internal heat. Slowly, silently, it turned away from Earth and began accelerating toward deep space. "Wait," Calder called into the open channel, "we owe you." The reply came in the same old cipher, translated with difficulty. This was only the first wave. And then it was gone, vanishing into cloak as abruptly as it had arrived. Aftermath. The War Council convened in emergency session. The Vogt fleet's destruction had bought Earth time, but the meaning of first wave gnawed at every mind in the room. Calder remained at the window of the Luna hub, staring out toward the stars. Somewhere out there, a ship 2 centuries old had fought like it had never stopped guarding humanity. No one knew if they would ever see it again. But one thing was certain: if the vigilant dawn truly was Earth's forgotten guardian, then somewhere in the cold dark, it was still watching. And waiting. It began without warning. The alarms across Earth's orbital defense network weren't the usual piercing tones of drills. This was the deep, resonant war tone reserved for an actual attack. Commander Ilara Voss, stationed at High Point Command on the lunar surface, leaned over the holomap. Dozens of crimson markers blinked into existence near Mars's orbit, an alien fleet, massive and moving fast. She recognized their angular signatures instantly. The Kether. A predatory species humanity had encountered only in the outer colonies. Skirmishes had been bloody, and now it looked like they had come for the Sol system itself. Highpoint's comms officer shouted, "Multiple colonies under fire, Mars' defense grid is collapsing." Ilara gritted her teeth. Earth's fleet was scrambling, but the nearest strike group was still an hour out. By then, the Kether could turn Mars into a graveyard. And then, the unexpected happened. The cloak breaks. Without any precursor signal, without hyperspace flare or sensor signature, something vast shimmered into existence near the moon. An enormous ship, pitch-black hull edged with glowing amber seams, tore itself from invisibility like a ghost shedding a shroud. Its silhouette was unlike any Earth or Kether vessel. Before anyone could even hail it, its forward batteries unleashed a storm of energy fire. The beams didn't arc or pulse, they were sustained, white-hot lances of power, cutting through the vacuum like lightning frozen in place. The target wasn't Earth. It was the Kether fleet. Confusion at command. "Who the hell is that?" Ilara demanded. "No transponder, no ID, nothing in the registry," her tactical officer said. "They're weapons, they're beyond anything we've got." On the main holo, the stranger moved like a predator through the chaos. It was already past Mars's orbit, flanking the Kether from an impossible angle. Its guns carved through their formation with surgical precision, every volley dropping a cruiser or carrier. Earth's analysts scrambled to establish comms, but every attempt returned static. The stranger's transmissions, when intercepted, were in a dialect no linguist could immediately identify. It sounded old. Ancient. The Kether crumble. By the time Earth's fleet arrived, the stranger had already halved the Kether numbers. Ilara ordered the fleet to support its maneuvers, but coordination was guesswork. The Kether tried to break away, engines flaring for deep space, but the stranger didn't allow it. From its dorsal spine, it deployed what looked like shimmering spheres of distorted light, gravitational mines that detonated without heat or shrapnel. Each detonation ripped a Kether ship apart, not by explosion, but by pulling it inward, folding the metal in on itself until it vanished into nothing. The alien flagship, a monstrous fortress of dark iron and spines, fired back with everything it had: heavy particle beams, missile swarms, plasma cannons. But the stranger's shields absorbed the impacts like rain on stone. The unanswered question. In the war room, Earth's military council linked in from across the system. Some hailed the stranger as a savior. Others feared it might turn its weapons on humanity next. Ilara stayed silent, watching the patterns of its attacks. This wasn't random violence. The stranger seemed to know exactly where the Kether were weakest, dismantling their strategy step by step. One admiral suggested, if they can speak, we should open negotiations now. But the linguists had a different worry. The fragments of intercepted transmissions were in Proto-Terran, a reconstructed root language from humanity's early expansion era, spoken only by historians and AI archives. Whoever the stranger was, it was either ancient or carrying something from humanity's forgotten past. The turning point. The battle raged for hours. Earth's fleet and the stranger pressed the Kether harder and harder until the alien flagship broke formation, retreating toward the asteroid belt. Do we pursue? Ilara asked over the fleet channel. The Admiralty debated furiously. Chasing the Kether could end them for good, but leaving orbit might open Earth to a surprise strike. And then there was the unknown ship. If it wanted Earth defenseless, chasing the Kether might be handing it the perfect opportunity. In the end, the decision was split. Half the fleet stayed behind. Ilara's strike group went after the Kether. The stranger followed her. Pursuit through the belt. The Kether flagship tried to lose them in the maze of asteroids, but the stranger navigated the field like it had been designed for it. Its energy lances cut through drifting boulders, detonating Kether escorts one by one. Ilara's destroyers hit the alien flagship's flanks, forcing it into open space. That's when the stranger made its move, accelerating past the human ships in a burst of blinding speed. It rammed the Kether head-on. Not with brute force, but with a weapon she couldn't comprehend. A massive sphere of shimmering distortion bloomed at the point of contact, swallowing the alien ship whole. When the light faded, there was nothing left. Not debris. Not even dust. The standoff. The Kether were gone. Her fleet was intact. And now, the stranger drifted quietly in the dark, its weapons offline. For a moment, Ilara thought it might finally answer their hails. But instead, the massive vessel began turning, slowly, toward Earth. All ships, Ilara ordered, hold position. If it wanted to attack, there was little they could do to stop it. Every weapons scan suggested the stranger's firepower dwarfed theirs by magnitudes. Then, without warning, the amber seams along its hull dimmed, and it shimmered, cloaking itself once more. In seconds, it was gone. Watching from the shadows. Back at High Point Command, the War Council tried to make sense of the event. Some were convinced the stranger was a human relic from the early days of interstellar war, a rogue AI ship awakened by the Kether threat. Others suspected it was alien technology reverse-engineered from something humanity had once owned. Ilara didn't join the speculation. She was too busy staring at the trajectory logs. The stranger's final vector before cloaking wasn't toward deep space. It had angled toward the outer solar orbit as if it was settling into a silent watch, just beyond detection range. The waiting game. Earth's defenses remained on high alert for weeks. The stranger never reappeared. No transmissions, no sightings, nothing. But Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that it was still out there. Somewhere beyond Neptune, cloaked and waiting. Whether it would emerge as protector or conqueror, she couldn't guess. All she knew was that when the Kether returned, and they would, the stranger's war might become humanity's war too. And this time, Earth might not have a choice in the matter. The first impact was almost silent in the vacuum of space, just a ripple on Earth's orbital shield grid. From the observation deck of Terran Fleet Command, Lieutenant Rian Salas watched the indicators flare red. Alien ships, dozens, were approaching from multiple vectors. They weren't the Kether. They weren't the Vakth. This was something else. Sleek silver hulls, weapons glowing with eerie blue light. And unlike the others, they weren't probing or testing defenses. They were coming to burn. Earth's fleets moved to intercept, but the alien vanguard tore through the outer defense line with frightening precision. And then, the anomaly appeared. The Guardian's return. Sensors screamed as a massive gravity surge erupted just beyond the moon. Out of a distortion in space, a familiar dark hull emerged, black armor edged with amber seams. It was the ship the media had begun calling the Unknown Guardian, the same one that had appeared in the Kether battle months earlier. Cloaked since then, it had returned. Rian's heart skipped. Not because of the ship's sheer size or power, but because of the emblem now visible on its battered flank, a golden sunburst. He knew that symbol. His grandfather had worn it on an old naval jacket from the first interstellar fleet. The crest had been passed down through his family for generations, along with stories of a legendary ship called the Vigilant Dawn, a ship said to have vanished 2 centuries ago. Recognition. Sir, Rian reported to Admiral Kalen, that ship, it's wearing First Fleet colors. Kalen gave him a sharp look. The Vigilant Dawn is a myth, Lieutenant. Focus on the battle. But Rian couldn't shake it. The AI in the family heirloom, a small crystal cube his grandfather had called the core, had once told him stories of a captain who swore an oath to defend Earth until the last star went cold. And now, this ship was here, shielding Earth from an enemy no one had even named yet. The battle for the Blue World. The alien fleet spread around Earth like a tightening noose. Energy beams slammed into the orbital shield grid, making it flicker. Civilian transports scrambled for deep space. The Guardian moved with surgical precision, intercepting enemy fire with its own hull. Massive armor plates glowed white-hot under sustained bombardment, but the ship did not falter. From its bow, golden lances of energy cut alien cruisers in half. From its flanks, bursts of shimmering distortion swallowed attackers whole. Rian watched the tactics unfold. This wasn't just brute force, it was a masterclass in naval warfare, like the ship's AI remembered every battle humanity had ever fought. The oath revealed. A comms officer shouted, "Incoming transmission, it's from the Guardian." The voice was synthetic, deep, and resonant. To those who serve Earth, I am Vigilant Dawn. I was built in the fires of the First Fleet. My crew is gone, but my oath endures. Today, I keep it. The room fell silent. Rian felt his chest tighten. His grandfather's stories had been true. This wasn't just an ancient warship, it was a promise made metal. Shields falling. The alien fleet was relentless. For every 3 ships the Guardian destroyed, 2 more emerged from hyperspace. Earth's shields were failing, the orbital grid buckling under the assault. Then came the moment Rian would never forget. The Guardian positioned itself directly between Earth and the alien flagship. It stopped firing. Instead, it opened its forward hull, revealing a crystalline engine core that blazed like a newborn sun. "Sir," the science officer whispered, "it's overloading its singularity drive. That's a one-use weapon." The Admiral swore under his breath. If it fires that close to the planet. The final sacrifice. The Guardian spoke again, this time directly to Rian's console. "Rian Solace. Your bloodline remembers the oath. Today, you will inherit it." Before Rian could respond, a small object detached from the Guardian, a crystalline AI core, identical to the one his family had kept. His station confirmed it was on a collision course with the docking bay. Moments later, the Guardian unleashed its final weapon. The crystalline core flared, folding space around the alien flagship. In a blinding instant, the entire enemy armada was drawn into the singularity, compressed, silenced, and erased from existence. The shockwave rippled across Earth's shields harmlessly, but when it cleared, the Guardian was gone. Not cloaked. Not retreating. Gone. The inheritance. The AI core landed in the bay, warm to the touch. When Rian held it, a voice spoke in his mind. "I am the memory of the Vigilant Dawn. I have fought for 2 centuries, and now I pass that duty to you. One day, the enemy will return. When it does, the Guardian will rise again under your command." The voice faded, leaving only a faint golden glow in the crystal. Aftermath. Earth celebrated the victory, but Rian knew it was only a reprieve. Somewhere in the void, the alien forces were regrouping. And in some hidden place, or perhaps in the bones of space itself, the Guardian was waiting to be rebuilt. He swore then and there that when the day came, he would be ready. Because the Vigilant Dawn had not truly fallen. It had simply passed its fire on.